Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Made Live TV. Today, joining us, we have Paul Thomas, Service Manager at Pennine Pneumatic Services. And today, we will be talking about working in manufacturing, especially from Pennine Pneumatic Services. But before I get started and let Paul introduce himself, I just wanted to talk to you guys a bit more about the events from the Made In Group. So we've actually started a new series of events. We've changed up our breakfast mornings. We've included some new ones. So head over to Made in the Midlands or madeinyorkshire.com to check out the new events and also the events module. So now if you log into the back end of your microsite, you'll be able to see a new events module, which means better, more relevant networking. So make sure to check that out as well. But I won't keep you any longer on that topic. Let's get started on today's interview with Paul from Pennine Pneumatic Services. So thanks for joining us today, Paul. Would you like to just introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about Pennine Pneumatic Services?
Afternoon, Yasmin. Yeah, I would. I'd love to. It's great to be here this afternoon. Yeah, I'm Paul Thomas. I'm Service Manager at Pennine Pneumatics. I'm an apprentice-trained engineer. Kindly, Yasmin, you told everyone that I've been in the industry 20 years. I've always been around manufacturing. I started my trade in wireworking, which was varied from the old foundry systems where you put chaplets and studs together to seat frames for high-end cars such as Jaguar and Nissan. I came into Pennine Pneumatic Services 7 years ago as service manager, and Pennine Pneumatics is arguably one of the biggest warehouses in the north of England, and we supply compressed air solutions and any air handling. So in a nutshell, we supply and install and maintain any sort of product enhancing equipment that go into manufacturing businesses of all types and denominations across the north of England, whether it be air compressors, the tools that the air uses, chillers, pneumatics, the ducting and the pipework solutions that come along with it. We have a full in-house turnkey approach to that sort of measure for all the companies across Yorkshire and the north of England.
Great, thanks for that, Paul. So you mentioned there that you've worked in the industry, for over 20 years, and today we're talking about guys working in a manufacturing particularly. So was there any sort of point in your career, Paul, where working within the industry really stood out and you knew that this was the sort of path for you in terms of your career?
It all started when I was 16, leaving school, and it was actually my grandfather was the biggest influence on me. And I had a number of options when leaving school, whether to go down apprenticeship routes along engineering or actually mechanicking at the time, car mechanic. And it was actually a very, very wise statement that I got from my grandfather saying, cars will always be there for things that bolt on and off. Engineering will always evolve, and there'll always be something new, and there'll always be something that challenges you and enthuses you. And he was right. Manufacturing never sits still. I think at the moment, manufacturing in the UK and Yorkshire is very, very buoyant, very, very proud of itself. But the fact we evolve and the fact that we change and we look at how we're doing things constantly, and it's never the same day twice. It's what makes me get up in the morning, because there's always something new to learn and new to see about.
Yeah, definitely. And having worked within the industry for so long, what do you think the main sort of skills that manufacturing is looking for?
I think at the moment, when we're looking at manufacturing and we're looking at engineering within Pennine, we've got to look at a combination of skills. We've got to look at people that can adapt, and I've got a drive to be enthusiastic and ingenuity. So when we're looking at engineers now, we've got a steady flow of service engineers coming through of different ages, so that we've constantly got that involvement and that new people coming through about succession. We're looking at engineers that don't just service a machine for the oil and filters, but they actually understand the electrical side, the control side, and everything that goes down the stream of the compressor. Because a factory energy consumption, the compressed air alone can be 30% of that amount of that bill.
Right.
If you're not taking proper control of it and you're not making sure you've got it under constant monitoring, which we can do remotely as well as at your desktop, then that energy bill can soon go into your manufacturing side and still outweigh your profitability and ultimately your ability to reinvest. So the engineering apprentices now, we put through the MVQ system, and we make sure they're multi-skilled, so they're not just down to one area. They've got skills across the broad range. And as the engineers then progress out of their apprenticeships and out of their skills training, we take them down the route that they choose to go to. So we can look at a purely mechanical based side of the big machines. We can look at the electrical side to specialise in further down the line, but we'll already had the broad base of training.
Yeah.
We're currently driving quite a big energy department at our company,
Right.
which is alongside controls and remote monitoring. Because of that side of it, manufacturing need to know that we're taking care of their air supply, their utility in essence.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a good point you make in terms of your apprentices. So, apprentices, like with many other businesses, I'm guessing, is that they go through your company, they learn the skills they need for the business that they work within. So in your case, Pennine Pneumatic Services.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, other employees, so they may not have done an apprenticeship before, what opportunities do you offer to them in terms of upskilling in order to meet the skills that it requires to work at Pennine?
Yeah, so what we have at Pennine is we have our own in-house technical trainer and a training room facility. So anyone that comes to Pennine, whether you work in the office, whether you work in the trade counter front of house that we've got, or whether you're working within the offices downstairs, which is processing of the orders, you will learn about compressed air to start with, and you'll learn how it influences the customer, which is ultimately any form of manufacturing. Within that, we look at, if you're going down the sales route, you will look at the BCAS endorsed diploma in compressed air. We take all our staff that are customer facing and put them through customer service MVQ. And just recently, we're now going into the realms of the new age of communicating through, which we're doing now, Yasmin, through social media, through different platforms. So we've got one of our staff starting the digital marketer degree in September, and we have other key members of staff that work in departments currently doing a business management degree. So we'll back any employee that wants to learn, and we'll guide them and show them routes that are potentially going to be beneficial for themselves and ultimately Pennine to support the end user and the customer.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. Thanks for that, Paul. Some good information there. So going back to the apprentices, essentially, what role do apprentices play within your business, and what training do they go through that's helping bridge the skills gap within the company's sector that your company sits within particularly?
Yeah. So our engineering apprentices are key. We've got a wide age band of engineers that service compressors of all shapes, sizes, and specifically age, because they change very rapidly. You see a life cycle on a compressor of 5 to 7 years, and there's new technology. So we work closely with a pre in Bradford. They give the broad-based engineering, and our engineers do peer-to-peer training with different engineers in different skill sectors. But they're also bridging that age gap. So every 2 years we should have an apprentice coming through and finishing, and then as the engineers then are ending towards the end of their career, they can then move on into something different, or potentially retire, because we have a high retention of staff. We've got engineers here that have been here 30 years. So we need to do both. We need to train them with a pre on the latest technology and our in-house trainer, but we need to get that knowledge and that skill and that work ethic out of the existing engineering team we've got, so the new guys are following through, passing on the Pennine way, which is straightforward, customer facing, honest service.
Yeah, definitely. And how about your employees? Because you just mentioned there that you have a really high retention rate, and a lot of employees stay on with you. But how about those that do decide to move on? What transferable skills does Pennine offer?
Well, we give a broad base. We did a company-wide MVQ in business improvement techniques a couple of years ago, just before we moved to our new building in Rastrick. And we will always base them around the customer service drive that we've got at Pennine. So yes, we want to show you what the industry is doing and how it into manufacturing, but we give the basic skills of a service business and customer service delivery. We had a little, like I say, I think we do like to be a little bit unique in the straightforward approach we have, but that's not to say that we're not giving the transferable skills of internal customer service training as well as external as well. Yes, you'll always get product knowledge around what we're doing, but the customer service ethics stay the same.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you just pointed out there that Pennine's unique. So why do you think that Pennine Pneumatic Services stands out as an employer of choice amongst maybe your competitors that do similar service?
I think we like to. It's a great family feel here. I would say team, but I think team sometimes a word that's overused. Pennine's always had a family ethic about it. You're part of the family when you join, and they go over and above to support you both personally and professionally. I've worked in small companies, small companies, and I've worked in large blue chip companies. And Pennines seems to have that uniqueness of being able to support its staff, both personally and professionally, while progressing and forging forward with obviously its development plans. We take a really, really active role in the local community, whether that's charity work. We threw some of our staff off a building in Leeds for a sponsored event. But we also sponsor a lot of the local teams around here as well.
Mm,
We're a sponsor of Halifax Town, but
mhm.
our depot in Sheffield does exactly the same. We've just opened a branch in Lee, and we'll be doing the same over there. We want to get involved in the local community and the local people because they're what coming into our business.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, you know, what why should job seekers, graduates, and students alike, for that matter, what should they consider before applying for a role within the sector, or specifically, Pennine Pneumatic Services? So essentially, what should they bring to the table when they work within this sector, and particularly within your company?
I think first and foremost for Pennine, we want punctuality.
Hmm.
Um, I know that sounds really basic and maybe a bit of a simple first answer, but our customers depend on us being there to support their manufacturing profile. That's 24/7. So if you enter an engineering sector with Pennine, eventually you will be there on a 24/7 system.
Hmm.
Um, and it's matching the customer. Matching manufacturing. That is the way manufacturing is going, and it has been for a long time.
Hmm.
Um, you've got to be able to project yourself. We offer straight talking, honest customer service. We need to just see a commitment that you want to achieve that day by day. If you hit that bar, we'll back you up. We'll give you all the support you need to go forward. Um, we're in an industry that doesn't stand still. So
Hmm.
we we're one of Atlas Copco's biggest distributors in the UK. They're
Hmm.
arguably the best in industry. That means we're in a fast-paced, innovative arena, and
Yeah,
that then shows across our customers and it shows across our employees. You never walk in this business to the same day twice,
yeah.
and it's a fantastic, enthusiastic environment, um, both for us and then ultimately our customers.
Hmm.
Um, keep looking for a niche. So when you come here, you're given that scope. One of the things that I learned here, you just get on with it. You've got a good idea, get on with it. You may not just, there may be a pitfall along the way, but you'll only
Hmm.
learn by trying. And as long as
Hmm.
you're trying, you'll progress and you'll find that niche. You'll find that next step that gives you the edge to go forward.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think it's important, isn't it, for people who are considering a role in manufacturing, or if not for that matter, but just looking for a job, looking to upskill within a new career, is to consider how important manufacturing is to our economy. Essentially, it makes up
Yeah.
such a massive part of it, doesn't it? So, what, in your opinion, why should people consider a role in manufacturing? Why is it so important to our economy and to Britain, essentially?
I think to the economy in Britain, it's vitally important we keep manufacturing in the UK. We keep evolving. We could all look at the last 12 months at what we've achieved within manufacturing within different sectors. We've all risen to a challenge, but it's actually genuinely exciting
Hmm.
because we are at the cutting edge on so
Yeah.
many industries. We
Hmm.
are at the cutting edge of the world, not just the UK, not just Europe. We're at the world, and it's an area that you'll never ever get bored. You'll never ever have a dull day if you're
Hmm.
willing to be inventive and open your mind. The world's your oyster within the
Yeah.
UK, as daft as it sounds. The world is your oyster. You are, and the UK has been very, very good in the past at making things. We occasionally meander. I think that's fair to say, and
Yeah.
we occasionally meander and lose our way a little bit. But at the moment, I think it's an ideal time. It's prime time where there's a real buzz. within the manufacturing of the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and a real will to kick on.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in for an exciting 5-10 years. I really do.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely agree with you there, Paul. So that's all we have time for today, everybody. But I'd like to just thank Paul, first of all, for joining us today and sharing his knowledge and experience on working in manufacturing, particularly within Pennine Pneumatic Services. So thanks again, Paul, for joining us.
No, thank you very much, Yasmin. Thank you.
Great. It was lovely speaking to you today. And I'll see you all soon for another episode on Made Live TV. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.